Oh
The
yeah.
first topic of the day, let's just talk about the box office. We're not going to talk about Barbie as a topic specifically because you guys are probably bored to death of it. I understand that. I fully get that and appreciate it. But let's just talk about the box office and where we see things moving forwards from there. So, culture, take the lead on this, bud. What happened with the box office this weekend, mate?
Well, we actually had a lot of things that we anticipated happen. We'll start first with the Barbie movie, which is doing rather well box office wise. In fact, it set a bunch of records to the tune of a global open of about, well, just under 300 and 60 million, or right in that ballpark. But as of yesterday, we're at $382 million globally. In stateside, this is a great number here for this film, and it's kind of a little disgusting and frustrating for me. But 188 million in the States through yesterday, that's crazy. So, but it's doing rather well, and it didn't open to the best. It's not all-time box office ranker, but for this year, so far, it's movie 6 for the year. It's already in 6th place, and it's all-time as far as toy movies so far. It's second. Based on
second
toys.
only to Super
Oh,
Mario?
No,
That's
based
a
on
toy
toys.
movie, is it?
I think it was Toy Story would be number 1, but I could be wrong.
How's that based on toys? That was a film first.
I don't know. Ask Tom.
God. All right, okay.
I don't know. Ask Tom. But I know this. The weekend box office was huge. That $162 million start. But again, it benefited from
getting all the records.
Yeah. It benefited from a Wednesday, Thursday preview day, which gave it $22 million. And by the time you added that to Friday, it came to $70 million. But as you can see, it's already in decline, right? When you start to look from Monday to Tuesday.
Quite a big drop off, actually. I mean, that's not a massive surprise for a 40% drop off, but we are in the school holidays in the UK and things.
It did have an excellent Monday, though. Yeah.
There's holidays for you guys as well. So
yeah, it had a nice Monday. The Tuesday was a little rough, and we already know something about the box office. We know the psychology of the makeup of the primary audience here, which is female, over 70% on average here in the States. So, in fact, in some cases, well over 90% of many theater viewings. But because of that, we know ladies, and don't be mad at me, this is the psychology of you all. I'm not saying this, but y'all don't go back to films. You don't do repeat viewing. Absent like the Titanic, where you wanted to see Leonardo DiCaprio die like 1,000 times, you did not go back and see anything else. This film needs repeat viewing, and I don't think it's going to get it. So I still stand by my projection, and it opened really well, but the time will tell when we get to the next jump. You know what I mean?
I've lost all faith in humanity.
Yeah, well, me too.
So, I mean, what happened? What was second place? Second place was Oppenheimer.
Oh,
Oppenheimer did
Give me a moment out. Yeah.
And then third place, we had
The
Sound of Freedom, which seems to be buried. They're trying to bury it in all reporting.
Isn't that weird?
They don't really cover it. Isn't it interesting? Is it cost like $125 odd million or something like that?
Oh, it's doing rather well.
In
fact, what I'm sharing now is all 4 of the films that you would think should be there. I didn't put Mission Impossible there, but I'll add it in a second. But as you can see, I mean, Barbie, and this is misrepresentative because this film was $148 million. So they're actually hiding the real production budget here, but that's fine. Doesn't matter.
And then an epic marketing campaign they would have spent a substantial amount of money on the marketing.
150 million that anybody can put a finger on, but we know it's probably more than that. Regardless, as you can see here, I mean, it's rocking 188 million. You had a solid open for Oppenheimer at 82 million. It's now at 95. It's closing in. Worldwide, though, it's almost at $200 million right now.
Yeah, and that had a budget, as far as we could tell,
180.
That budget was like, was Oppenheimer budget 180?
Yeah, that's what they said.
Remember before they were saying
I thought it was cheaper. Yeah,
it was reported at 100.
Wow. Okay.
So
they're lying.
Interesting.
Something else showed up somewhere, right? And then, of course, in a very fixed third place of these 3 films, and third place for the weekend at, wow, by the way, it's still, look at these numbers, man. Anyway, it's at 127 million 6. So it's doing rather well. And then we already know for a fact that this is about it for Indy done at $335 million.
Completely done.
Yeah.
fall off the face of a cliff. Dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun,
yeah.
dun.
But it's like I said. I mean, it's an odd situation and circumstance that we find ourselves in when we look at the top 4 movies in the box office. And at this point in time, with 1 week's head start, or is it 10 days head start, Tom? Sound of Freedom is $7 million ahead of Mission Impossible domestic.
Crazy to think of. To be fair.
That's crazy with a budget of like bubble gum. But I mean, these numbers, they don't lie. And Dead Reckoning is already outstripped Indiana Jones, but it just got surpassed by Barbie already in worldwide box office, which is bonkers.
Yeah, I think the important thing to realize with Dead Reckoning, it just opened in Japan. Japan for the previous movie was like $100 million market.
Yeah.
So we could very well see this just shy, when all is said. I don't know. Predictions for Barbie, I think, first and foremost. I think it's going to fall. There's 2 trains of thought with Barbie. It's either going to fall off the face of a cliff, right?
Yeah.
Which it very well could do.
Yeah.
Or because they're singing its praise and accolades really non-stop, that will generate an interest and a buzz to carry over to an okay second weekend. So it won't have like a 60% drop off. It'll have between a 40 to 55% drop off instead.
It doesn't really have any competition either. That's the other thing. The only thing coming out is Haunted Mansion, and that traditionally has not had, and I don't see any buzz for it at all.
No. True.
Yeah,
what do we think of that
they pulled its primary marketing budget? That's something else that's not being reported. Haunted Mansion got their marketing budget just slashed. So,
well, yeah, you're not seeing it. Well, what do we think to Barbie second weekend? What's going to happen to it?
Well, it'll be lucky if it pulls. I think it'll be lucky if it pulls half. I don't anticipate it'll pull half.
You think it's gonna? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I mean I'm looking at it falling off right now. 40% drop from for Monday. I think it's going to drop another substantial bit today. Although Tuesday's the senior day, if I'm not mistaken, so you might get a few more folks in the door. But I think everybody. This is one of those movies. I think everybody who was going to go see it went and saw it. This is having some really weird echoes to me of The Flash, where you had a front-loaded box office. But a lot of that's also wishful thinking on my, because right now
you're very much wishful thinking.
I'm mixing subjective and objective thoughts, which I will admit to. I try not to, but in this situation, if it does continue on this particular trajectory, I have a feeling that it will be it will be going down.
I'm going to predict it now. Barbie's going to be the biggest movie of the year.
I really hope not.
Biggest movie. It's going to outstrip Mario at $1.3 billion. Really?
So. It's already halfway there almost.
It is not almost halfway.
It's made almost $400 million already.
No, how much did it make?
$384 million or whatever so far.
I do not think this is going to beat Super
It's only been out for 4 or 5 days.
But, and there's a big old but in the room, is that's the sort of perfect storm for the holiday period, right? So that's not unexpected that it's going to have a big opener. It opened, what day did it open for you guys in the States?
Wednesday.
Quite early. Open on Wednesday, right? It didn't open in the UK until the Friday. So it had 2 day
I've been right about everything else so far, but okay.
Well, look, I know.
I'm just saying.
Super Mario Brothers
the buzz is not going away.
Well, someone says 1.4, 1.3, whatever it is. I can't see it carrying through. It would have to make it would have to make $1 billion on top of what it's already made.
Yeah.
To beat out Mario Brothers. Well, plus 1.1, 1.2 billion on top of what it's made. I can't see it doing that.
Again, the demographic you're dealing
with. Again, I could be wrong, right?
It made almost the same amount. That's what I'm saying. People aren't really paying attention to that.
Well, I know. We talked about this last night.
But the word of mouth isn't as divisive.
Yeah.
It is.
Super Mario Brothers was not divisive in any way, shape,
right,
or form.
Right. But that could also drive more adults to go see Barbie. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope this thing falls off a cliff.
Yeah, you say that. My brother texts me because I've got a niece, And he texted me and he was like, "Oh, have you seen that new Barbie? I'm thinking of taking, daughter. You don't need to know names. Off to see it." And I was like, maybe that's one to probably wait for streaming, mate. To be fair, and I said, look, it's divisive. Some people say it's satirical. Some people say it's very woke, very much down the line of feminism and anti-man and blah blah blah. And he was like, even if there's a chance, I'm not interested. I was like, also, like, my niece is 7. I was like, I think a lot of the references will go over her head anyway.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, well, exactly. This is what I mean. I was like, you probably don't want to show her that as a reference point for the world at this time. So he was like, yeah, probably wait for streaming. So I think there'll be a lot of people that do that as well. We've got Nick here chiming in. What is this? I don't like this. This weird avatar you got going on there. What's this?
I was trying out this.
That's new Nick's Talk Entertainment Network.
Yeah, it was. I was testing out this Streamlabs virtual cam that I've been messing around with.
How's it working?
So far so good.
I mean,
let's not get off topic too much. Let's stay on topic a little bit here. But Nick, we're just talking about Barbie and the predictions. Tom's got a hot prediction here, and he thinks that Barbie's going to beat Super Mario Brothers. So it would need to make, because it's made just shy of $400 million, it would need to make about $1.2 billion more than it already has made. What do you think to that?
I personally don't see it beating Mario, but I can see there being an argument for it. I mean, I'm surprised it even made that much, in its first weekend. So it seems like, and the thing is, the reviews I've been watching from people that I generally watch are also mixed. It seems like there's a divide between people that most of the time seem to agree on movies and entertainment. There's some people that are like, this is woke man hating trash, and other people that are like, it's actually a good movie, who typically would say the same thing. This is woke man hating trash. This is targeted at a specific audience, which is mainly females. And when you put, feminist female agenda stuff into already female driven movie, I don't think there's going to be as much of a backlash. But beating Mario, I personally don't think it's going to beat Mario, but like I said, I can see there being an argument made for that.
The only reason I think it's possible is because there is nothing else coming out between now and the end of the summer.
Is there not?
Not really. Not that's going to really bring any competition to its doorstep.
You got
Ninja Turtles
movie, the Hunger Games movie
that comes out in August, into August.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
and then September is also chock full of meh stuff. Basically,
what's the age rating for Barbie? Isn't it PG-13?
PG-13.
So that does kill off quite a large portion of its audience that Mario had, instantaneously. Mario was anyone could watch it, right?
Yeah, that's one of the controversies right now, though, is that this movie did a very poor job of advertising it was PG-13.
Yeah, that's another good point. Though
you can't take a child to it. That's the
but most people don't realize that. That's the problem. Because I saw wall-to-wall kids this weekend. So did most people.
Surely that goes against what you're saying. Then that's a black mark against your theory, right? It's a controversy. There's still a market that they can't tap into. Is that not part of that as well? Or
I guess I'm the only one who sees what kind of explosion this is going to be. I'm maybe being hyperbolic, but I've been saying it ever since I saw the movie and people were arguing about it again, because this is like the culture war, but now it's in our backyard, right? Instead of it just being the left versus the right kind of thing, or an us versus them kind of thing, I can see this being a domestic issue, because you go to the theater with a husband and a wife team, they're going to probably both walk out of this movie with completely different takes. Now, if the husband's smart, he's just going to be like, whatever, honey, as long as you liked it.
Yeah.
But if he actually stops and thinks about any of this movie, I know we didn't want to talk about a lot of this stuff, but there's stuff in here that I don't even want to get into, because it is just insane that this isn't a kids movie, but people are still taking their kids to this movie. It depends on how people talk about the controversy this week. What you have, though, is basically the same kind of folks and people and arguments coming at this just like they did with Star Wars, Ghostbusters, all that kind of stuff, basically. But they have the trump card of it wasn't made for you. So it doesn't matter what I say, doesn't matter what culture says, doesn't matter what any guy says about this movie, unless it jives with what they want to hear, right? Because then in that case, they'll use it as an excuse or an example. But in this case,
I would say, well, then it's definitely not made for young girls or teenagers or anybody else, because this is teaching some very bad lessons. You want to fire that thing out there, fire off that trump card, I'll hit you back. But I don't think this is the right direction. Yeah,
we're getting off topic ever so slightly. I want box office predictions, guys.
I don't see this movie falling off. My whole point is, with all this perfect storm of everything, I do not see this film falling off like most people predict it does. So I do agree that normally women don't go to repeat business. I also agree that normally women don't even go to theaters, period. But this is one of the few times where you're getting both the regular crowd and the woke folk coming to a movie. Because that's one thing we point out all the time, is that the woke crowd normally doesn't show up to these movies. The millennials and the Zoomers are. So
that is true. That is true. So, well, culture then. So, what was your box office predictions then on this, and then we'll wrap this up.
For Barbie specifically, like I said, I think it comes in at around roughly half of its last weekend's earnings. I think I think we'll sit at about 55 to 60 million next weekend for it, for Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
I suspect, and again, I mean, this holds true. It would be, again, optimistically, I would hope for a bigger dramatic fall. But, you know, I don't see it falling off 65, 70% like The Flash. I don't see that coming. I'm hoping for it, but I don't see it coming.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Is this a worldwide prediction or just domestic?
I'm looking at domestic.
Okay. Well, no, I'm doing worldwide. Just it's the overall box office that we're talking about here. So it's worldwide. I want to know thoughts for worldwide, because we're not, Super Mario Brothers. It beating Super Mario Brothers is a worldwide.
Oh, well, then
that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, then add in 72 for the worldwide. Worldwide for next weekend, 72 million.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because I think it's going to fall off a cliff globally. I mean, you already have Asia just ignoring it. The Middle East has decided it's not interested. And,
well, they're not. Of course, they're not. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. All right, interesting. Well, we'll see. We will see.